Hi, everybody. Today I want to read to you Psalm 122, verse 1. It says, "I was glad when they said to me, 'Let us go to the house of the Lord.'" Psalm 122 is one of the psalms known as a psalm of ascents, which means it was a song commonly sung by the people of Israel as they traveled toward Jerusalem and on up to the temple for worship. And while the context there is Israel and the house of the Lord that they sing of is the temple, the attitude they express is the same attitude for all of God's people in every generation and at every place. We love to be where God is. We love to worship Him, and we love to do it in fellowship and in the presence of the saints, together as God's people worshiping the Lord. And so the last couple of months here have been a challenging season for us as a church because we have not been able to gather for worship. We know it is a biblical requirement for us to gather for worship, and all of God's people should long for it and make it a priority. But at the same time, we know it's a biblical mandate to honor our governmental authorities as much as we are able to. And so we have prayed for wisdom over these last several weeks about how to accomplish these things together, how to remain faithful to our calling to worship the Lord as a church, and yet how to cooperate with our community and our governmental authorities in a time of crisis. Through our Livestream Bible studies and our Wednesday online conversations, and through the many personal phone calls that many of you have made to one another, I believe we have continued our commitment to the preaching and teaching of the Word of God and to care for one another. And at the same time, I think we have done well at graciously and patiently cooperating with the efforts of our community to recover from this outbreak. And I am thankful that in recent days, our government has affirmed the importance and the freedom of churches gathering together for worship. Taking all of that into consideration, I am excited to be able to update you on our own schedule for the next couple weeks as we carefully work back into corporate and public gatherings. So here's what this looks like. For this coming Wednesday, we're going to keep everything online again as we have over the last several weeks. We'll plan to have our Bible study via Zoom and have our conversation on Psalm 46. And then on Sunday morning, again, we'll continue to have our live stream Bible study on YouTube at 10 o'clock. But then, this coming Sunday, for anyone who would like to attend, we will have an outdoor service and Bible study on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, if the weather permits. Of course, it looks like it might rain, and if it does, we'll just cancel that service and wait till the next scheduled event. But this Sunday, weather permitting, we'll plan to have a service outdoors at 2 o'clock here at the church. And then we will plan to do another Bible study on Wednesday evening, May 27th at 6:30 in the evening. That's our regular Wednesday evening gathering time, and we'll do it here at the church if the weather permits outdoors. If the weather doesn't permit, then we'll come indoors and plan to do that next Wednesday, the 27th at 6:30. And then here's the big one. On May 31st, Sunday, May 31st, we will plan to gather for worship in one service, all together as a church, here at the church at 10:30 in the morning. That's our regular morning worship time. We'll plan to gather for one service, and we'll keep everybody together in the auditorium, or if we need to, we'll use the conference room for overflow. We won't plan to provide childcare just yet. We won't have food and all of that stuff, but we will gather together for one worship service on May 31st at 10:30. Now, as we move back toward resuming a regular worship gathering schedule, a regular schedule as a church, I would ask that if you are at greater risk for contracting the disease yourself, or if you have not been feeling well, or if you think that you may have been exposed to somebody who is sick in recent days, we will ask you to stay home and wait until you are well in order to be able to come and gather with us for worship. We also understand if you are not yet comfortable coming out and gathering in a manner like this, that we understand that and we respect your wishes to stay home, and we will still do our best to minister to you in the meantime until you are ready to come and gather with us again. My prayer during this time apart has been that we would understand more clearly how vital it is for God's people to gather together regularly, and how much of a privilege it really is. And in the next couple weeks, it's going to look a little different. It's going to feel a little bit weird for a while, but I am looking forward to the opportunity that we have to work back into a public gathering. All of this has been put into a letter that I've written and posted on Facebook for you, so I would encourage you to take a look at that. We'll be emailing it out to the church as well. Please take a look at that and follow these guidelines and take a look at what our schedule is over the next couple of weeks. But as we do this, let's continue to rejoice in the Lord. Let's continue to thank Him for the work that He has been doing in our church and among our church congregation throughout this time. And in the next couple days, I look forward to meeting with you online. And then in the next couple of weeks, I look forward especially to gathering with you again for worship as a church. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. In the meantime, let's continue to pray for one another, and let's look forward to this time that we will have together as a church, beginning next Sunday afternoon and then culminating Sunday, May 31st, in a worship service at 10:30 in the morning. We'll look forward to seeing you then. And in the meantime, I pray that you have a great week.